My favourite bit is the whisper at the end. Queen and These Are the Days of Our Lives. 19 minutes past 12. Daytime here at BBC Oxford 95.2. Now, the premiere of a new film takes place at Oxford Castle tonight, but it's a film with a difference. Which Way has been made by a mixed group of around 15 disabled and non-disabled teenagers in just 11 weeks at workshops led by Open Set, the team behind the film Lady Godiva, which was partly shot in Oxford last year. Now, with more about the film and the project, I'm joined by Vicky Jewson from Jewson Film Productions and the film's director, Rupert Whittaker, who both join us this lunchtime. Thanks for coming in today. Vicky, let's begin with you. Tell me about this project. How did it come about?
Well, it was actually through a friend of a friend who introduced us to a man called Dan Norrie, who runs Parasol, which is a group that specialises in mixing disabled and non-disabled children. And they really wanted to give them a professional film experience that they couldn't find anywhere else, including the big premiere at the end. And so we felt up to the task.
Is there a big interest in filmmaking?
Yes, there definitely is. And I think because young people are so in touch with the media all the time, they have an incredible talent straight from the off to be able to put pictures to sound and to tell a story. So it's really inspiring to see all that come to life.
So what was the idea to take teenagers with no experience at all and follow it through to the ultimate release of a film?
Exactly, and to give them a direct access route into the industry, because I think a lot of courses that are out there don't necessarily put you right in touch with the business end. And we wanted to give them an access route so that if they want to continue in the business, we can give them work experience and actually push them through onto a professional level.
Well, the film's director is Rupert Whittaker. Rupert, it's got to be difficult working with Hollywood lovies anyway. Here you're working with people never worked in the movie business before. You had a fair bit on your hands.
Yeah, but actually they're so fresh-faced and eager and keen. It's a joy to work with them. And to be more accurate, they actually took over most of the directing of the film themselves. So I kind of was director on paper, but I was kind of running around after them. I was there dog spotting.
Before we talk more about the project, tell me a little bit about the film. It's called Which Way? What's the plot? Who stars in it? What goes on?
Well, the plot, which was devised again by the kids, because we split them into 5 groups, and they pitched 5 different ideas. The plot is based on someone's dream about a witch who ate people's fingers to the bone. So what we did was we adapted the whole thing about 3 kids who get lost in the woods, and there's a B&B. The witch, disguised as a backpacker, directs them to this B&B and then quickly nips home and changes into the B&B owner, and she lures them in to stay for the night and have some breakfast, and then they discover that they're on the menu. So there's a little twist at the end where one of them escapes and comes back and destroys her cookbook, and that's her soul being destroyed. So it's quite fun.
The tagline is they were young, lost and on the menu.
Correct, yeah.
So what was it like working with them? Was it a case of sitting down and doing a big kind of training course first and then saying, OK, here we go, here's the movie, let's start work? Or was it training as you were filming?
We had a good kind of 10 weeks of Monday evenings, getting them well versed in filmmaking from pre-production through to production. So they were familiar with not only cameras and microphones and editing, but also with pitching and auditioning and everything. So that when we did hit the ground for 2 weekends, we filmed back to back. They were confident enough to take over all the kit themselves and quite happy.
And who were they, by the way? How did you find them? Where did you find them?
The children?
Yeah.
They came from 3 different groups: Parasol, Fusion, and also Woodcraft Folk and Young Carers. So it's a real mix of children that have difficult home lives and therefore have to look after their parents all the time and don't have much fun. So children from there. And then children who it's like a scouts group, Woodcraft Folk, and then Parasol specialises in finding these kids that are sometimes excluded from school because of their difficulties. And then we brought some children to the project as well that we had found after Lady Godiva that were really keen to get involved in filmmaking. And
how has this left them now? Are they going to use this as experience to hopefully continue a career?
We really hope so. They have a lot of talent, and we're basically starting an initiative where we're using Oxford-based media businesses to take each child on once a year for work experience to help get them into the business end. And I think mainly it's left them with a great deal of confidence that they really can do something in the wider world, which for us has been wonderful to watch. One of the boys in particular, started not knowing a great deal and he has a few problems, but by the end he was giving the most accurate account of what a first director director, and a first assistant director and a director was, that I've ever heard.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
When you think of the movie business in the UK, you tend to think about, I don't know, Pinewood, maybe Shepperton, maybe central London. Is there much of a movie and media business around Oxfordshire?
There is a surprising little nest here, a nest bed and a melting pot for talent, because we're so close to London. Rupert and I would really like to advance that and to grow on it and actually make something that's more sort of permanent, that we can expand on in Oxford, because it's such a wonderful backdrop to film against.
I guess the most important question, which we haven't asked, what's the film like? Are you happy with it?
I think we are, yes.
We are, yeah.
It looks fantastic. They've done an incredible job for first-time filmmakers. It's absolutely brilliant.
It gets a premiere today at the Oxford Castle. Will we see it on show in cinemas?
We're hoping so. We're sort of in conversations with the Odeon and the Phoenix to see if they'll put it on before major features. But it's definitely going to be on the web.
And we're in discussions with Skillset and the UK Film Council as well, to see how much we can get around the country, if not just locally.
Well, we wish you the best, certainly with the film and in particular with the project. Vicky Jewson and director Rupert Whittaker, many thanks for joining us today. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.